So, how non-tariff barriers are choking Indian exports? So, here a key message: Indian companies are no longer losing export markets mainly because of high tariffs or price competitiveness. They are losing them because of complex, arbitrary, and ever changing non tariff barriers like paperwork, testing, certification, registration, inspections, politics, etc. So, what are the non tariff barriers? NTBs. NTBs are any government measures other than custom duties, tariff that restrict or increase the cost of imports. They are imposed in the name of protecting public health, consumers, animals, plants, or the environment. Common form: strict pesticide or residue limits (MRLs), mandatory registrations and prior approvals, repeated laboratory testing and certifications, lengthy inspections and documentation requirement, sudden ban or suspension without scientific justification, country-specific political or diplomatic pressures. While many NTPs are legitimate and based on science, a large and growing number are arbitrary, excessive, or used as disguised protectionism. How severe is the problem for India? Numerous real examples 2023 to 25. Shrimp and seafood. In Japan test every single shrimp consignment from India. No other country faces this. European Union, despite no detection for 5 years, still insists on 100% testing at Indian ports. Mexico banned two Indian shrimp shipments, immediately banned all Indian chilies. Agricultural products. European Union extremely strict pesticide residue limits for rice, tea, spices, often stricter than international codex standards. Japan banned Indian sesame seeds multiple times over minor residue issue that persist on paper decades later. Korea restricts Indian fruits and seafood. Pharmaceuticals and medical devices. Latin America, West Asia, Central Asia imposing burdensome drug and device registration requirements. Russia demands registration fee in euros for each veterinary product. Saudi Arabia requires embassy attested documents for diagnostics. China insists factory inspection by its own officials. Chinese only lab testing. Other products: US banned Indian shrimps on turtle safety grounds despite local testing system. European Union banned Indian Ayurvedic medicine despite registration. Italy banned steel products allowed elsewhere in Europe. So why NTBs hurt more than tariff now? Tariff are transparent, predictable and negotiable in free trade agreements. NTBs are opaque, change frequently and are very difficult to negotiate away. Even if an Indian exporter complies 100% with one country's rules today, the rules can change tomorrow or the goalpost moves during inspection. So result is Indian exporters face permanent uncertainty and high compliance costs. So the most damaging types of NTBs for India: prior registration and documentation hurdles, drugs, devices, chemicals, arbitrary residue limit and repeated testing, which is agriculture, marine products, disproportionate or politically motivated inspections or bans. So what India must do? India needs a complete strategic shift, modernize domestic systems, upgrade pesticide control and traceability in agriculture, build certified animal disease-free zones, expand accredited labs and link farm to port digitally, enforce food safety traceability rigorously, aggressive trade diplomacy, raise NTBs as a central issue in every bilateral and WTO negotiation, not just tariff, demand reciprocity of standards, If EU or Japan impose tough rules on India, India should impose equivalent rules on them. Use countermeasures relatively NTBs when needed. Insert strong NTB discipline clauses in all future FTAs, binding commitments against arbitrary changes. Fifth mindset: stop treating NTBs as minor technical issues. Recognize that without tracking NTBs, even zero tariff free trade agreements will deliver little export gain. So the bottom line is India's export ambition target of $1 to $2 trillion will remain a dream unless the country treats non-tariff barriers as public enemy number one in global trade. Tariffs are yesterday's problem. Paperwork, politics, and protectionism disguised as regulation are today's real choke points. So it ends with a stark warning. Indian firms are no longer losing market on price. They are losing them in paperwork, processes, and politics. So simple explanation of the article, like explaining to a friend what is the problem. India wants to sell more things abroad: rice, shrimp, medicine, spices, steel, etc. But other countries are making it super hard, not by charging high taxes, tariff, but by creating hundreds of complicated rules and paperwork. These rules are called non-tariff barriers. Today, these entities are hurting Indian exports much more than taxes ever did. A simple example everyone can understand. Imagine you make the world's best mango pickle at home and want to sell it in Europe. Old problem: Europe says okay, pay 100 rupee tax on every jar. You pay rupees 100 and sell. Simple. So new problem: non-tariff barrier. Europe says first register your kitchen with us. Takes 2 years and 5 lakh rupees. Test every single jar in a European approved lab. Cost 500 rupees per jar. Prove your mango trees are 500 meters away from any road. Get 15 different certificates. We may still reject the whole shipment if we find 0.0001 of a chemical we don't like, even if it is safe. Even if your pickle is 100% safe and tasty, you simply give up because it is too much headache and cost. This is exactly what is happening to Indian exporters right now. So real life funny but sad example: Japan and Indian shrimp. Japan checks every single shrimp from India under a microscope. No other countries get this treatment. It is like Japan saying we don't trust even one shrimp from you. EU and India: rices and spices. Europe has a rule: if your basmati rice has even a teeny bit of pesticide, less than one drop in an Olympic swimming pool, we reject the whole ship. Their own farmers sometimes fail the same test, but Europe quietly ignores it for them. Mexico got angry. Mexico found a small problem in two Indian shrimp shipment, which is suddenly banned all Indian chilies forever. Like your teacher failing your whole class because two students talk. China and Indian medicines. China says we will only test your medicines in Chinese language lab, and our officers will come to your factory whenever they feel like. You have no choice but to wait months or years. Why is this worse than normal tax? Tax is fixed amount you can plan. NTBs, moving goalposts, rules change suddenly, paperwork never ends. Officers can reject for any reason. So Indian companies are losing sales not because their product is bad or costly, but because they get tired of endless paperwork and unfair checks. What should India do? Simple step: make our own farms and factories super clean and high tech so no one can complain. Tell other countries, if you make tough rules for us, we will make the same tough rules for you. Fight hard in every trade meeting. Don't just talk about removing taxes, talk about removing these silly rules. Add strict clauses in new trade agreements that say you can't change rules suddenly or treat India unfairly. So one line summary is: India is losing export sales not because our products are bad or expensive, but because our countries keep adding endless paperwork, tests and surprise bans. Like playing a cricket match where the opponent keeps changing the rules mid-game. So thank you.